It's a blessing to welcome on former Old Dominion star. He has an incredible story and he was a member of the All CUSA second team selection last year, and now he's the newest member of West Virginia, Malik Curry. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Well, kind of walk us through this as you just were talking about with me. You obviously went to the transfer portal. You got it done pretty quickly, though. Only went through about 9 or so days since you announced it. You found your decision, and West Virginia is your new home. Walk us through this and how excited you are.
Just the whole process was great. It was a long process. Just talking to a lot of coaches and just a lot of conversations on how I'm gonna fit in programs. So, West Virginia came in the picture, and I felt like it was a great fit for me.
Now, for you, obviously, this is an incredible story for you to get to this point, and I want West Virginia fans to kind of get to know you a little bit better. Let's kind of head back. You're obviously from Delaware. Walk us through, like, what was it like growing up out there?
It was good. It was fun. I had parents that had me involved in sports, and Delaware is small, so everybody knows everybody, and it was fun for me growing up. It was actually some of the best times of my life in Delaware. I ain't lived in Delaware in a couple of years, but
Hmm.
when I was younger, it was definitely fun.
We know that's an area that's super small, especially where you grew up, and like you said, it's a tight-knit community. Pretty much everyone kind of knows each other, and it's kind of a supporting network group over there. What was that like, just growing up where you kind of knew a lot of people and had that kind of support from the overall this community?
It was great because a lot of places aren't that small, and everybody doesn't know everybody. So just know everybody, just feeling comfortable in your state, no matter where you go, is a good feeling.
We know in terms of basketball, we don't see countless players come out of Delaware and make it. There are some that do it, but what was it like in terms of the basketball atmosphere, basketball aspect? Like, how was that kind of making it out of there and becoming a player that you are today, even though not necessarily a ton of talent comes from there?
It's great because uh, you got to work way harder than everybody else around you, just to make a name for yourself. A lot of states are known for basketball or known for something, and Delaware isn't really known for some. So, well, anything good, but now I feel like 2021, a lot of talent has been coming out of Delaware, and we just showing everybody that we belong.
When you go out there, step foot on a court through high school, when you're out, transfer out of state, throughout your college career, like, what does it mean to be able to represent Delaware?
It's great because I'm putting the city on my back. You feel me? So it's like it's a great feeling. Everybody supporting me, and come where we come from. It's you only could support. You can't really hate on somebody that came from where we came from, knowing that not a lot of talent has came out of there. So that's good.
Now, there was a situation where, like you said, you grew up obviously with a family that was involved in athletics. You came from a family that really had a background in athletics. Your dad was an athlete.
Mhm.
Kind of take us to that though. Like, what was it like kind of growing up with that in your background?
It was fun. My dad played soccer,
Hmm.
and I used to love playing soccer. I still that might be like if I ain't played in a long time, but I think I'm still
Hmm.
nice at it though. But it was great. I really love soccer. I really love playing sports. I played soccer, football, basketball, like year round. So, it was great. And my dad was really good at soccer.
We know one storyline that's kind of become a national attention and something that people have talked about a lot with you. And we also know about your dad's passing and the whole shooting that happened that day. So I kind of want to hear your story behind that. Obviously, we have a lot of people to share it, but from your perspective, kind of take us through that day and what you're able to remember of it.
That day, when my dad died, it was a rough day. My dad was hosting his soccer tournament that he does annually. The whole city really comes out. Everybody that plays soccer, all the Jamaican people. I'm Jamaican, so my whole family's Jamaican, honestly. So they all just come to the event. And I was home. My mom was with my dad, and she came to come pick me up, me and my brother up. So she left for like 30 minutes probably. We had to go grab some food to bring back. So we was with one of my dad's friends, my mom, me and my brother, and we just pulled up to the football field. It was a football field, but it was a soccer field too. And we just seen a whole bunch of ambulance, helicopters, people, just a lot of people. Just it was just crazy. And then one of my dad's friends, ran up to her car because he seen us pulling up. And my mom was just trying to call my dad, like making sure he was good. She would just call him. She let me call Sam. Let me call Sam. And he wasn't answering, so we was like, "What's going on?" And then my dad's friend ran up to the car and was like, "Sam got shot. Sam got shot." and we just like, what? Like, what's going on? Like, duh, duh, duh. And then they was like, a bunch of guys came up and shot him and just was shooting on the field. And a young man named Alexis got shot in the head. You know, he passed away. A lot of people don't know that. So we go to the hospital. My family's there. His family, Alexis' family is there too. You know, we just all trying to, figure everything out. And the doctors said that my dad he'll be good. They said that he'll be good. So we was all confident, happy now, sign of relief, And then we went home. Well, I got to see him, but he couldn't talk. He could just hear us. And we just holding his hand and just talking like, Dad, please make it through. Like, and then we just went home to go grab some stuff to spend the night in the hospital. We came back and my mom, she's just her head just in her lap, just like upset. And they bring us in this conference room, and then my aunt just told us the news.
I know, like you said, that one obviously situation where at least you were able to see your dad, you were able to kind of still hold his hand. Was that any kind of impactful for you? That's something that helped you a little bit through the situation. I mean, obviously, there's not really too many positives out of it, but kind of just being able to be around him, so see him for a little bit, did that help you at all?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at first, I was only 13, and still to this day, like me showing emotion is kind of hard, but like just like holding his hand, I didn't cry for like the first couple of days, like because it was just unreal to me, just seeing him in the hospital, like is this like really happening, like so I didn't really process it like how I wish I would have processed it at the moment.
And for those that don't know, your dad obviously was someone that was well known throughout the community. Like you said, he hosted an annual soccer tournament. He's a person that helped out with the special needs kids. He helped out with
Mm-hmm.
really, he was really one of the heroes in the community. He was someone that was well loved, well respected. How did the community kind of wrap around you guys and help support you throughout that time?
Man, it was amazing, man. Like Jamaican people have this thing called seven nights. So it's like everybody comes over, food, the whole community. And man, the support was crazy. Like, everybody respected my dad, loved my dad. So it was all genuine love, like genuine. And still to this day, like those people that came around still, till this day were like, if I need anything, they'd be there. So it's great. And Joe Biden's son came to my house. It was a big deal. Like everybody respected my dad and loved him. So, it was crazy.
At the age of 13, we all know that that's not really an age you can process things. It doesn't always make sense. You're still young, still super young at that point.
Mm-hmm.
When would you say it started like kind of setting in for you? Like, when did you start really realizing it all and really kind of became truly aware and understood like what all started happening and really kind of set in on you?
Um, Probably after the funeral. After the funeral, when I seen his body in the casket. Yeah.
We do know that obviously both the guys that were involved in that were with the third guy was also died at the scene, but we know the two other guys are now in prison for life. But throughout the whole trial process, were you ever involved in that? Were you ever wanting to go there? And how did it feel when you finally found out that there was justice given?
Nobody even told me about anything about that until after. I didn't know anything. Like they just kept me in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I didn't know anything about. Yeah.
And you kind of go back to the Jamaican roots. That's something that we know is not always common, especially in the basketball world. But when you look at your just that roots, the history you have behind you, what does that mean to you? And what's it kind of like representing your Jamaican culture?
It's great, because a lot of people don't play basketball, so like,
Mm-hmm.
it's all soccer players, and it's great because they still support me the same way, and they still got love for me, and like, it's great. And both of my family, my mom, dad, grandparents, grandmoms on both sides, like everyone's Jamaican, so like, it's a big deal for them to, like just see me doing things that I love to do at a high level.
Now, you growing up in the Jamaican world, you obviously have the Jamaican type of food. You just live in that community. To make the transition, eventually, we'll talk about later, though, to a couple other states where you've been playing high school and college basketball too. What's some of the differences that you've noticed between the Jamaican community and then all other communities you've been a part of?
Um, just Jamaican people are more stricter, like certain stuff they don't tolerate as far as like you got to say yes sir, yes ma'am, like just talk to everybody with respect, and just never treat anybody differently, it could be a CEO or a janitor. Like you got to treat everybody the same, and they take pride in that. Other cultures like Texas and Connecticut, it's more Americanized, so it's less stricter things, and people you can talk to people like a friend instead of like a someone else. Yeah.
Let's get into your basketball career because obviously this is what made you an athlete, who you are, this is why you're going to be playing at West Virginia next year. Just walk us through this. You start off your high school career at Wilmington, St. Elizabeth. Why is it the school you originally chose? Like, why is it the school you want to start off your career at?
My sister went there, and she enjoyed it. And my two teammates, Jordan Money and Eric Hicks, was going there. So they went to my elementary school, and then I transferred to another school my 7th, 8th grade year, the public school. So I was like, bro, I want to, get back to, hooping again with y'all. So we kind of teamed up, and we was just talking about it the whole summer. And I was like, yeah, I think that's where I want to go.
So you mentioned earlier that soccer was your first sport you hadn't played. When did basketball make the transition? Like, when did you start saying basketball is the sport you kind of like loving and really kind of put all your effort towards basketball?
Honestly, when my dad died, because I didn't have anyone to take me to practices because my mom was working. So I had a coach that would come pick me up, Coach Kev, he'd come take me to the gym every day. So just being in the gym every day, and I was like, yeah, this is something I really want to do.
And so that freshman year, you go out there, you guys have a 10-13 record, and you kind of start emerging yourself. You kind of have a pretty solid freshman year out there. What was that freshman year like?
Adversity, because people know who I was, but a lot of people didn't, So just playing basketball, my first game, I didn't even get in the game. And the coach was like, he's gonna have me play half JV, half varsity, and I was like, what? Like, I'm playing JV and varsity, like I'm better than half these guys. Like, I'm like, that's crazy. So I was hurt. I told my mom, I don't know. Like, I don't know what he don't see in me. And then the next game, I didn't play any JV, though. I didn't play any JV. I was just on the bench for, the first, couple games. And then someone got hurt, and I came in the game against Dante DiVincenzo on the Bucks. He went to Sally's. And I came in and scored, 9 straight. And then everybody was like, who is this kid? Who is this kid? And ever since then, I've been playing.
There's a lot of college guys and guys that even make the NBA jump that have kind of had the same basketball story as you in terms of you look at your situation where you're not necessarily going in day one as a highly ranked player. The whole country knows about you. You're not this highly recruited guy. But eventually you work your way, you climb, and you end up turning into a player that's now playing at West Virginia next year, most likely a starting point guard for West Virginia next year. What's it like seeing this journey, though? And when you first walked into high school, that first year before you started playing, could you have imagined telling yourself that you'd eventually become a player that's playing at West Virginia and possibly even starting?
Not my freshman year. I would say when I transferred and went to Texas, that's when I was like, yeah, Malik, you do what you got to do. You could get to where you want to go to. There's no doubt in my mind. And I always knew that, one day I will, eventually be playing at the highest level, somewhere, somehow, some way. I always knew that. I always used to tell my mom that. And, I'm glad that I'm making it happen for myself.
So you end up making that transition. You first go through your sophomore campaign where you guys go 17-5. You have a lot bigger year that year as well. But what was that sophomore year like, and what ultimately led then to your transfer going out to Texas?
Sophomore year was great because me and Jordan Money was on the same page, and the coach put trust in us. It's nothing better than when a coach trusts you. So, he trusted us to go out there and produce, and he let me have fun out there, and it was great. But I went to Texas just wanted to play against better competition. That's how it usually goes. You transfer to play against better competition on the national schedule. Because when I was in Delaware, we just played the same team, So my AU coach, Coach James Johns, the one that helped me throughout my whole process and my whole career, honestly, he was like, yeah, I got a situation here in Texas if you want to come. Nysier Brooks, that's just transferred to Ole Miss. He's going. Stevie J, that he was going too. And it's a good situation for you. I was like, if you want to be the best, you gotta play against the best. And I just had to make that transition.
And that's something I'm a huge advocate for because we see it's now becoming a lot more normalized where there's so many more prep schools these days where it's pretty much got each state's got multiple amounts of prep schools you can go to and play that competition, play national schedule. But that wasn't as popular then. They're still starting to pop up a lot more, but it wasn't as popular as today. So what like led to that? Like what was it like going out there and pushing yourself? Because the biggest thing probably is even practicing just with your own team, practicing as top guys day in, day out. So
I'm
what
sorry.
was that like kind of practicing against that kind of level talent?
It was great. It was great for me, I think. Once I got there, I went through adversity again. I didn't play like the first 5 to 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my fault though. Like I wasn't ready. I wasn't mentally prepared to go against those type of guys.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something that I like when I got there, it was unreal. I'm like, it's so much talent in this in every practice that we have, Terrance Ferguson, Mark Vidal,
Mm-hmm.
Trevon Duval. I'm playing against them in practice and they going right at me. So I'm like, this was going on. Like, this is how it is. And once I adjusted, I think I did pretty good. Like, I started coming on strong. And it started with just getting in the gym. That's the first thing. I had to look myself in the mirror and tell myself that this isn't going to be handed to me. I got to get in the gym and work. And we was going to the gym every morning, lifting every morning, just trying to get right and then go to practice. So I knew I had to get on my ground.
You gotta go a little bit deeper in these practices because, like you said, Terrance Ferguson, he's playing in the NBA today. Trevon Duval was a guy who was the number 1 point guard coming out of high school and then obviously played some games in the NBA. Nysier Brooks is a big time player. Billy Preston, Mark Vidal, who just won a
Right.
championship. Like when you're in that environment, these guys are obviously not the guys today, but this is their high school versions. But what was those environments like, and like who were some of the guys that you really enjoyed competing with at practice?
I would say Trey Duval because we both play the same position and that's
Mm-hmm.
the person I'm going against every single day. Like, and it's coaches coming in the gym every day, like the highest coaches, like
Mm-hmm.
so just everybody trying to get them offers and get them scholarships. So it was real in there. Like we'd be going at it, talking crazy to each other, just all love though, but like just trying to push each other to be better.
If you're trying to advise a guy that wants to play at the Division 1 level, is playing at a prep school, playing at a situation where you are competing against the best guys and competing not just games, but also in practice. Is that the best fit for a guy that wants to play at the next level?
I will tell you to do it
Mm-hmm.
because if you're in high school, you're playing against the same talent. I mean, it all depends because in Texas, if you go to like Lancaster or
Mm-hmm.
DeSoto or something like that, you play against good competition.
Yeah.
But being in my situation, coming from a small state, and I'm playing against the same talent, which isn't that good as other states' talent,
Mm-hmm.
I would say go play a national schedule to see how you compare against the best of the best, because that's the only way you can tell yourself where you belong going forward.
Mm-hmm. And God then puts another bump in your road right there because then you find out that the school is not academically eligible for the NCAA. That's obviously something that you don't want to hear. You thought you're going to play in this team, you're going to get a lot more offers, a lot more looks, and this kind of comes in your way. What was your reaction? How did you learn about that?
Um, we all kind of found out like together, and we were just like some people had online classes. That's what like the people that went to college, they had online classes, so they were good. But the
Mm-hmm.
people that was taking in person classes, I mean, we was like, wow, like none of these credits count. So what we gonna do? And I really don't know how that went because my uncle, Coach James, he kind of did all that for me, trying to get me eligible. But I
Mm-hmm.
know it was rough for a lot of us that didn't have the grades and didn't have the criteria to go to college.
You then decide to make the transition. You go out to Putnam Academy, which I think a lot of country knows who that is now, especially in the basketball world. A lot of talent, another elite team you're part of. What was that transition like?
It was fun. Eric Ayala at Maryland, he called me. He knew Hamadou Diallo. He left like a day to go to the I think it was what was it, Kentucky or the NBA? I don't remember.
Kentucky, yeah.
Kentucky, right. It's
Mhm.
Kentucky. So he just left, and then Eric called me and was like, "Bro, we need somebody that can score the ball. Like, come on, like." I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I think that's what I'm gonna do because the situation at API wasn't the same.
Mhm.
So, like a day or two, I just left, transferred, and then I just made myself at home. Yeah, it was good though.
I have to ask you this part too. When you look at the guys we already discussed, Terrance Ferguson, Trevon Duval, Nysier Brooks, Mark Vidal, Billy Preston, Eric Ayala now, all these guys you play with, what's it like to kind of watch them all take their next steps? Now seeing them live out their dreams, playing Division One, playing pros, like what's it like seeing all these guys live up the dreams that you also have?
Um, it's amazing because
Mhm.
I watched them, grow as a player, as a person, as a man. So it's been great because, none of this is guaranteed. Anything can happen any day. And it's just a blessing to, watch and see everybody live their dream.
You formed that dynamic duo then with Eric. What was that duo like?
It was fun. Me and Eric been playing our whole life together. So
Mhm.
since Little League, so it's been great. Every time I see him just playing and hooping, it brings joy to me because I know that we started, from the bottom and we just worked our way to the top. So and then playing with him, it was great because we already got the chemistry and we just got everything that, the team needs, leadership, tough background, hard workers. So, it was fun.
At any point, did you guys discuss the potential of teaming up at the college level together?
This process.
Mhm.
Maryland got involved, started recruiting me.
Mhm.
Um, they was already recruiting point guard at the time, and I entered the transfer portal. And we was like, bro, like that could be something special. I gotta, keep that in consideration. And then Fast Russell committed. Congratulations to him. And I was like, all right, they got a point guard already, bro. We can't do it, but
Mhm.
hopefully one day we get back on the same team together.
So if Fats decided to go somewhere else or whatever his option was, but it wasn't Maryland, would that have been something that you could have seriously looked at and you think you could have made that move to Maryland?
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Awesome. And so then you could obviously go through this process once again where now you're looking at a situation where finishing up Putnam Academy and you don't really know exactly what you're going to do because then you end up having to take the JUCO route because of grades and whatnot again. How'd you kind of handle that and process that? Because obviously your main goal is probably to go with Division One, but how'd you handle having to go the JUCO route?
At first, it was like I didn't know too much about JUCO, and I feel like every JUCO player probably felt like this, but I was like, this is not it. Like, like I was like so mad. Like I think I cried. Like I was
Hmm.
like, my dream is over. Like I'm like, what is JUCO? Like I
Hmm.
was so mad, man. I was so heated. I can still remember that day. And it was like, yeah, Malik, you might have to go JUCO, like da da da. And then the more I started learning about JUCO, I'm like, all right, okay, it's a lot of talent in JUCO, like it's a
Hmm.
lot of talent. I was like, I just got to go there and handle my business, take care of my business, and that's what I end up doing.
I'm not sure too many, like you said, exactly know what they're getting themselves into for JUCO because it's not just a typical basketball. We know it's a whole nother level of basketball in terms of the mentality you have to have. And you kind of already grew up with that dog mentality, but this is a situation where you're going in and you have to fight for yourself. You know, even on that team that you love, you only have 2 years in. If you're not getting a Division One offer, your next offer by 2 years, you're probably done playing the game. How was that whole kind of range? Like, what was the JUCO life like?
Um, for me, it was great. For me, it
Mhm.
was great because I hear a lot of JUCO stories about how people, in Kansas or wherever they were, had bad experiences and they ain't had nothing to do or anything. I was in West Palm Beach, Florida, so I'm waking up seeing palm trees every day. I'm good. Like I'm like, all right, I'm good. Good team, good talent around me, good coach.
Mhm.
Uh, it's like a, you know, it's like a good program too. So like everything scheduled, practice, good food, monthly check. So I'm good. I had a townhouse, like my own room. I was good, bro. Like, yeah.
At that point in time, then, because you said you kind of were doubting yourself, you didn't really want the JUCO route. You clearly would rather be playing Division One right out of high school. What were your thoughts in your career then? Like, what did you expect for yourself? Did you think you still were going to go Division One? You think you're going to be playing at West Virginia someday? Like, what was your original thoughts after you had to go take the JUCO route?
I was just like, it's time to turn up another notch. Like I know that like God has something planned for me, and it's like I'm going through all these journeys to get to something. I know I'm gonna get somewhere because I'm going through all these journeys. I'm going through all this adversity, and I know that one day like something's gonna happen. I just have to keep grinding. So
Hmm.
going to JUCO, learning about JUCO and how it goes, you just got to do what you got to, take care of business on the court. And take care of business in the classroom, and everything's gonna work out for itself, man. I think my whole team on both years went Division One. So besides my first year, I think like 2 guys went D2. But besides that, I think everybody else went Division One.
So you've not played at the highest levels of high school, you play at local high schools, and actually even played at Old Dominion, which we'll talk about soon, and all these different levels. How much different, what are the different types of basketball? Like when you talk about JUCO, how much different is it than your college basketball and then different than your elite high school prep kind of basketball?
JUCO is like more of like just running. Just running. Not a lot of sets unless like conference games, but everybody's trying to put the ball in the basket to get their stats or whatever it is, but you got to play as a team at the end of the day. But it's more of like people just thinking for themselves, I would say. And I would say that's the biggest difference. Like, people think for themselves now, but you got to play within the system now, of course. Like, but in JUCO, like everybody's taking wild shots and stuff like that. But it was good.
Your sophomore year of college, you really kind of break out. You win a whole bunch of awards, second team, all conference. You're on the dean's list. You make all these different things that come into play for you. What led to that breakout year? Like, why were you able to break out to that level in your sophomore campaign?
Because so a lot of people don't know this. After my second semester, my first year of junior college, I wasn't eligible. A lot of people don't know that. Like, I think this is the first interview I talked about it, but a lot of people don't know that I wasn't eligible. So I'm like, man, like, what is going on? Like, what is going on? Like, what is wrong with me? Like, how do I go ineligible at junior college? Like, that looks so bad, And I just was working every day, just working. My coaches never gave up on me or nothing. Like, they were still with me, like, Malik, you're going to get through this. So I was just working every day. And then I had summer camps, All-American JUCO camps. And I had a lot of high major schools trying to get me. Went to camp, played terrible. Because I didn't play against like 5-on-5 in a long time, like a real 5-on-5 game. Besides pickup, and we wasn't really like that serious. But when we go to camp, everybody's trying to get them offers, so we playing hard, like really hard. And I just didn't stand out like I was supposed to, so they kind of fell back off me. And then I was like, nah, I can't let this happen. So I just took the approach to go into my sophomore season as a leader and just play as hard as I could play, and everything took care of itself.
When you were ineligible, was that because of grades or was it something else?
Yes, sir. Grades.
So then, like you said, you turn around and you make the dean's list the following year then. What led to that switch? Was it something that you just kind of truly switched mentally where you're saying, okay, I need to lock in on my academics, I need to lock in on my performances? Was it something that kind of came into your life and helped you? Family reached out? Like, what really led to that switch in your mentality?
I just knew I had to lock in. I just had to lock in on everything, on every aspect to get to where I want to get to. So, I just had to do that for myself.
You then go through the recruiting process, and it's not necessarily a lot of high majors coming after you, but you choose OD, Old Dominion, and that's a great program overall. We see a lot of guys can make the jump, especially like you just did. But what led to that Old Dominion? Like, why did the school you chose?
They was recruiting me at a high school, and I knew the coach already, the assistant coach. So and they was kind of close to home, 4 hours, but not too close. But that's the farthest I think I've been since. And I knew my mom could come to the games and everything. So I knew that was a good program too. And then they just won the tournament, so they went to March Madness. So it had hype. So I was like, yeah, I think I should go there and, try to make an impact.
You walk in then, as a JUCO player, this is one of the things that not a lot of people really realize how tough it can be because you only have 2 years, technically, not this year's different because of the extra year eligibility, but 2 years to learn a program, 2 years to come in right away and become an impact player. How are you able to go out there and perform at such a high level your first year?
Once again, I went through adversity. My first semester, it was good. I mean, I did okay stat-wise. I did okay. Like, I think I could have done better, but just getting the coach's trust, like, you always have to do that. That's like the main step in any process. And he didn't have my trust. So me and him were just trying to get on the same page, and it wasn't working. God works in mysterious ways. 2 of my friends transferred, and they left. So conference play starts. They tell me, Malik, like, play free, like play really free, like how you play. And ever since that, I mean, I averaged 17 in foreign conference, and I was doing good for myself. We wasn't winning as much as I was hoping to, but, you know, it made us stronger that, you know, we was less down. We lost 2 starters, and, you know, we had to be there for each other to win games. So, you know, it was a good experience for me.
That's a huge turning point for you because you have that 17 point per game conference play, and then we know quarantine comes in. COVID sets in and has the whole pandemic, and we know what that brought. But we know that eventually then it all closes, shuts down the whole world, and we know that you're stuck at home pretty much. Maybe get in a gym. But what was your mentality when you came to COVID time? Like, what were you trying to really work in on? What do you want to improve on? Like, what was your workout routine during the quarantine process?
Um, we all went home,
Mm-hmm.
so we couldn't be around each other. Everybody on campus had to go home, so I ended up going to South Carolina, and I was just working on my own. Like I don't need no trainers like that. Like, you know, it's helpful, of course, but I just get to working by myself, just run, try to find a gym. If I can't find a gym, I just work out, go to the gym, like weight lift or something like that. Like I'm gonna do something. So I just knew that, you know, as long as I'm working, you know, it's gonna pay off.
So you know this is now your senior year. This is before we know that you're going to have the extra year eligibility. What do you want to achieve heading to the year? Like your original goals for your senior campaign? What do you want to achieve this year?
Oh, I wanted to win the conference championship, and we lost in the championship game, man. Guy hit a buzzer beater, man. Like, guess Western Kentucky. So we was right there. So I can't say I wish anything changed, you know. I feel like we had a good year.
Go a little bit deeper into your relationship with Coach Jones because you're with him for 2 years, but how have you seen your bond grow from the time he first started recruiting you, the first time talking to him, all the way to today?
Our relationship, I feel like to this day is still great. You know, he's kind of probably upset at me that I left, but, you know, I graduated from here. You know, I never transferred. I never left. I never, you know, I feel like we got a real good relationship at the end of the day. And, you know, he always pushed me to be better, you know. He's one of those coaches that yell at you. He'll get on you real quick. So it's like every coach up by now knows that I could take that and I'm gonna play better when you yell at me. You talk to me that some type of way, like I'm not gonna talk back to you. I'm just listen to what you gotta say and just move on. So it definitely helped me to be a better player, especially a better person too.
There's just something unique about you, and there are some guys that do like that, but a lot of guys today don't like the coaches that yell. They want the coaches that are more friends in a way, like player-coach relationship. But like you just said, you like it when a coach yells at you. He can get you to kind of play at a higher level. When did you first start learning that though? Like when did you start realizing I like these coaches, the coaches that yell at you, the coaches that hold me accountable, the coaches that really bring the best out of me?
I mean, at the moment you don't love it when you get yelled at, but when you look back at it, you're like, okay, I understand what he's saying. But that just started with my dad. You know, my dad, you know, he'll get on you. So it just started at home. And then every coach I had since I started playing basketball has been the same way. I never had a friendly coach ever. Ever. Like I can't name one coach that was friendly. So I don't know. Yeah.
Let's get into this past year because this really was the year that put you on a national spotlight. Discuss this past year. Like, what was this past year like?
It was great. It was great. I mean, no fans, of course, that was terrible, but I was used to that coming from junior college, so it wasn't a big deal to me. And just I knew what my role was. You know, I knew what my role was, and I was comfortable in my role. I was comfortable with my teammates, my coaches, and I knew that we had a lot of talent on the team to go far, and I think that helped me, you know, throughout the whole process, every day, preseason towards the whole season. And we was playing back-to-back games. I don't know if you knew that though. Our conference had back-to-back games, which I love, and I just feel like that the back-to-back just it was great for our team, you know, to get in shape and just playing at a high level, going to conference tournaments. When you got to play back-to-back games, I knew that was going to help in the long run. So I think that helped.
That's unique. I've had a few guys that had that schedule this past year where, like you said, you play back-to-back on the weekends typically. How'd you like that, though? I know some guys were like, they don't really necessarily like the back-to-back. They'd rather have a couple of days off or play a typical schedule. Why'd you like the back-to-back?
I love the back-to-back just to play basketball and just play an actual game. Like, you know, practice is cool. It gets you better. But playing against other competition, you know, back-to-back days. So even if you lose that first game, you could come back and redeem yourself. Like, and that's what we did throughout the whole season. We never lost 2 back-to-back games the whole season. So I knew that, we was going to win one of them at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We know the biggest storyline this whole past year was COVID. Everyone was constantly monitoring the COVID situation for each team. And you've now gone through quite a few years of just normal basketball. How did you adjust to the whole COVID, having to test early in the morning, the restrictions? Like, how did you adjust to the whole COVID pandemic?
It's no adjusting to that, man. Because we was taking the nose things, but it was going all the way up every single day. Like, not the little like that. It was like going all the way up. So it hurt, man. I ain't gonna lie. It hurt, but I got into a routine, get a COVID test, then go back to sleep, take a nap, and then wake up, get ready for practice. So, I mean, you got to adjust some way, but it was all right.
How much more are you going to enjoy now having to take the COVID test and also going to have a full fans and really just get away with all the COVID stuff this upcoming year?
Oh, man, it needs to go away. It needs to go away. It's time to get back to regular life and regular living, which I don't think that's going to happen this year, but in the future. Yeah.
No doubt. Well, then you put your name in the transfer portal. You know this year comes with a close, like you said. You're graduating from here. You get all this stuff done, but you get the extra year eligibility, which is obviously a huge thing, especially for guys that had to deal with pandemic like everyone did. So what was your decision, though? Like when they first announced saying, okay, we're going to give everyone extra year eligibility, this year's not going to count. Did you plan on coming back another year? Do you think it's going to be at OD? Did you think you're going to transfer? Like, what was your initial reaction and response to when you found out about that rule?
When I found out, I knew about it like midway through the season, but I had my mind going professional, either whether I was going to declare or go to G League or something. I was gonna go pro. Like that was my main thing. I was like, the extra year is cool. That's like a grace year, I guess, but I'm trying to get paid. I got a son to take care of, so that was my main focus. I'm like, yeah, I got to get it. And then my uncle, we talked for a little bit. He was like, the extra year won't hurt. It can only help you out, honestly. Like you getting a little older. I just turned 22, so he's like getting a little older, but one more year won't hurt. You could really impact winning, at a higher level. And we just discussed and talked about it a lot. Like it was a lot. My mom was really stuck on going professional, and I think everything worked out for the best.
That's sidetracking a little bit, but like you said, you have a son now. You are a father. How does that change your life?
It changed my life drastically because I just had him like 2 weeks ago for like 2.5 weeks, and I have him by myself. We're co-parenting, so it's rough, doing it by yourself. But I love to do it though. I love to do it for sure. That's my boy. His name Malachi, by the way.
Long term now, I know a lot of guys, obviously your dream would probably to have Malachi go out and become a basketball player someday. But overall, though, how do you kind of plan on parenting? Like, what's going to be like kind of watching him grow up and possibly follow in your footsteps?
That'd be great. I mean, I'm going to have him play all types of sports, like whatever sports he want to play, honestly. Just as long as he's happy and knows that his dad loves him and is supportive of whatever he does, that's all that matters to me.
No doubt, man. Well, let's head into this transfer portal because you go in there, like you said, you're taking calls from, you have no idea how many schools. There's constantly calls reaching out to you. People want you because you just dominated this past year. What was this process like and how social was it for you?
It was very social. I'm not the most social person. Like, I'm comfortable with you, so I'm really talking to you and I'm enjoying this interview. But, like, I'm not that social, honestly. Like, I sit in my room all day and not talk to anyone. Like, but that's just how I am. I'm a cool person, but that's just how I am. So talking to all these coaches, having all these conversations was a lot for me, honestly. And it's the whole process started off with like as soon as I told my Coach Jones, like it was like a whole bunch of emotions, because like I love being here at Old Dominion, like I loved it.
Yep.
And it was like once I told him that, talk to assistant coaches, talk to everybody. Put my name in the portal, talk to my advisor. My advisor start crying, Malik, you're leaving me. Like, it was just like, it started from there. And then once all the coaches start calling, it just got a lot, honestly. It was a lot. And I had to enjoy it though, too, I had to enjoy it for sure.
That's what I was going to say, because ultimately as stressful as it probably was, you look back at it, we've discussed your whole story leading up to this now. Obviously, everything that's happened from the time you're about 13 all the way up to now, all the adversity you faced. And now this time comes and you get your second recruiting process where everyone now wants you. You're one of the more sought out players the entire year than anyone being recruited. How did that feel just looking back at that?
It was great because I knew that my hard work finally paid off. And by the grace of God, by him, COVID coming in another year, that never happened in NCAA history. So it's like, wow, like it was meant to be. Like it was meant to be, yeah. So that's how I think of it.
So you're going through this process then, and you ultimately narrow down to West Virginia, who I think will be a dream fit. I think you, Coach Huggins, are going to match up perfectly together. But how did Coach Huggins win you over? Like, what was it about West Virginia that won you over all the other schools that wanted you?
Because, all right, so Coach Harrison called me, and I seen West Virginia athletics pop up on my phone. I said, oh, man. That's what I said. I said, oh, man. I answered. I said, what's going on, Coach? We talking. He telling me, like, how you think I fit, my role, all that. So I'm like, all right, cool. Then an hour later, Coach Huggins called me. I'm like, all right, they serious now. So we talking, we chopping it up, just talking about everything. And then I was about to commit on the phone the first day. I was about to commit. I was loving what he was telling me. And, I was like, wait up, Coach. I'm like, wait up. He like, so this is done deal? I'm like, nah, Coach, I got to talk to my mom. I got to talk to Coach James first. You got to figure it out. Make sure it's the best fit for both of us. And that's what happened. And then the next day, they both called me. The third day, we set up a Zoom. And after that, I think it was done.
So was there any other schools even in the running? Like, was there a second option, someone that if West Virginia never came in the picture, you thought you might go to?
Yes, Mississippi State and St. John's came in the picture, but they came in a little too late. But I was liking what they were saying, though. South Florida, too. South Florida.
Well, as you just said, though, ultimately you're going with Coach Huggins and West Virginia. And you look at the Big 12, we know there's some elite Hall of Fame coaches from Bill Self, Coach Drew, Coach Beer. Like, there's some great coaches, but Huggins is clearly in that conversation because he doesn't always get like the top ranked recruits out of high school, but he develops guys and makes them pros out of pretty much nothing. Guys that have your same background, your same type of story. How excited to be in that atmosphere, be coached by Coach Huggins?
He's a coach that I know I'm gonna trust. Like no matter how it goes, I'm gonna trust him because he's been through this. He has JUCO kids, he has kids that had no offers before, so he knows exactly how we feel and exactly how our process was. And he knows I feel like he recruits those type of kids for a reason, and that's one thing that struck out to me. And I think that helps a lot, knowing a coach that is willing to take a chance on a kid that maybe wasn't the highest recruited person, but he's willing to give you a chance to show that you belong. So that's one thing I love.
I want to go a little bit deeper into his personality off the court because we see him on the court and he's always had a long history of being that coach that decides to wear the outfit that no one else in the country's ever worn. Now some other coaches started doing it because they released the not to wear suits and all that. But we know just that fun-looking coach. He's aggressive, though. His team always perform at a high level. But what's the legendary Coach Huggins like off the court? On his phone, personality-wise, what's he like?
He was just making a lot of jokes.
Really?
I don't really know him that well, but it was a good conversation. It was a fun conversation. He's like somebody that you could talk to, about anything.
We don't know who's all going to come back. We know the portal's still going crazy. Who knows what it's all going to look like by the time you guys step on the court date for game one. We know Miles McBride is in the draft process right now. If he comes back, though, if he doesn't come back, like how does that change the situation? And what would it look like for you depending if he is there or if he's not there?
If he is there, I think it would be great. I think we could be a national championship team, in my opinion, if he comes back. Just everybody comes back, we'll be at full strength. So I would love for him to come back. But, if he wants to pursue his dreams, that's great. But I feel like we could play good together, really good together. I'm good with playing with good guards. So, I feel like that would be a good fit for ourselves. And that's one reason why I decided to commit when I committed, because no matter what, if he comes back or not, it's still a great fit for me.
So you got to talk to anyone on the team yet? When you look at like guys like Derek Culver, Taj, like any of those guys on the team right now, have you got to talk to any of them yet?
Yes, I talked to my man, what's his name? His last name is Johnson. I forgot his first name though. I talked to him just on the phone before I committed because he's a person that went through adversity. He went the junior college route, and I just wanted to know his experience and how he dealt with adversity there and everything. So everything that he told me, was great. Even though he wasn't playing as much as he wanted to, he dealt with adversity like he was supposed to, and he knows that he got to just stay in the gym and continue to work, and it's gonna pay off. So
now you will be playing the Big 12. Clearly, that's going to be one of the better, if not the best, conference in the country right now. Game in, game out, you're going to go against Texas one day. Big 12, you're going to go against Kansas. You're going to go with Baylor. All these teams are in the conference. How excited to be able to be a part of the Big 12?
I'm super excited. This is the highest level I ever played in, so I'm super excited to get out there and see how I compare against some of the better talent in college basketball.
Is there one team specific you're the most excited to go up against?
Defending champs, Baylor. Yeah, Baylor.
And you know that if the fans are back in there, which they should be, they're going to Allen Fieldhouse that might have the craziest fans in the country. Baylor's going to have great fans. Like the whole conference is packed with fans. But is there one environment that you're super excited to be a part of?
It's a lot of schools. West Virginia. West Virginia fans, because I already know my phones are going crazy with the fans. So it's like, fans are going to be fans. So you got to produce and make them keep them happy. But I'm excited to get out there and show what I could do.
Give West Virginia fans a little bit of an insight into what you're going to get from you. I know you're a shifty guard, you're dynamic, but give us the whole picture. Like, what can fans expect from Malik?
They can expect someone that's going to give them 110%. Man, they get just a caring person, like just a loving kid, first of all, just someone that's going to go out there and just, play his heart out and just play with passion.
Absolutely. And a couple more things before I let you go. One of which is something I was wrapping up with, and that's discussing a legacy. Because I know all guys ultimately want to remember for something down the road. So when you are done playing basketball someday, what do you want to be remembered for what you achieve both on and off the court?
Just my journey, just give all the kids that's coming up motivation. That's the best thing I feel like I could do. Just showing them that no matter where they start, the finish line it could be great for you if you just continue to work hard and just stay persistent and just stay focused on your task. That's one thing I could tell probably every kid in America, that same story, and they could feel motivated to achieve their goals.
And also kind of being a believer, discuss your faith a little bit. Like, how has God helped get you to the point you're at today?
Man, because without him, I don't think any of this would be possible.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. I don't think any of this would be possible. Seriously, from I can remember my family, my mom, my whole family is religious. So, we go to church almost every Sunday, when I was home and everything. So just believing in God and just knowing that he has a reason for me to be here. And whether it's basketball or not, he has a reason for me to be here. And, everything happens for a reason, everything I went through, some people would be like, man, God isn't real if he let stuff like that happen. But, I feel like everything happened for a reason, because at the end of the day, certain situations, like my dad, him getting killed, my mom could have been right there. My mom, she left to come pick me and my brother up. She could have been right there when it happened. So, it's small stuff like that that just makes me have to believe God and know that he has a reason for me.
As a believer, I can kind of understand it, but I think the general idea of people that aren't believers would kind of be shocked what you said, that being able to find a positive in all that situation that happened that we discussed with your dad dying. That's not something that a lot of people would do. A lot of people would just only look at the negative. And if that's something someone does, obviously that's deserving for that. But for you to be able to have that strong enough faith to say, my mom was not there, she still was able to be with me. How are you able to do that?
Just lots of talk with people, I didn't always think like that, but now I'm older and I'm a man. I understand what they're saying. I understand what, everything happens for a reason. That's the only way I could put it. A lot of stuff is gonna happen in your life. A lot of stuff, and whether you know that or not, everybody's gonna go through what they're gonna go through. I feel like nobody has the perfect life, so and at the end of the day, someone else could be going through something way worse. So it's you just got to believe.
Couldn't agree more, man. Well, my final thing for you, give West Virginia fans your 3 biggest goals you have set for your career there.
Winning the conference championship, winning the March Madness championship, and just last goal, Just being remembered there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, man. Well, congratulations on this whole process and your commitment once again. Appreciate you taking time to come on today, and I look forward to seeing what I got next for you, man. Of
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you for the interview.
course, always welcome on, man. God bless.
All right. Thank you.